Meredith Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
UFC Fight Night, Strickland versus Hernandez. A road fight night. We love to see it. Houston, Texas is the destination. A couple good fights on the card. I'll break down the main card like I always do, guys. Provide free picks to you guys. Leans, price talk, fades, and more. Systemsportscapping.com or link.me/systemcapping for client opportunities, guys. Learn how to beat the sports books long term. Currently handicapping the UFC, PGA, March Madness tournament. I will be handicapping again this year. Studying has started, probably all of February, to be honest. We will be doing March Madness tournament, single games. I'll even do for fun, a full bracket. So get in on that. NBA and NHL, I have not been betting the regular season. I will around playoff time, though. A playoff will be handicapped. Great start to the UFC year, guys. Profitable in all events so far. 9-2, all fights. Average line plus money. Remember, guys, this isn't minus 300, minus 250 winners. These are plus money average line. This is year after year. Continue to hit at a very high winning percentage. Plus 96.2 units longer term, guys. Remember, smaller handicapper, more structural base, 1 unit, half units at times, depending on how large the plus money is on the outcome, and best bet sometimes more units, 2-3 units. But I always suggest never get involved with the handicappers that, I have a 20 unit lock play, right? That's how you don't beat the books long term. So you got to understand, you got to treat this like a stock when betting on sports. That's how you beat them long term, and that's how I'm a 5% winner in the market. No event last week, so we will have nothing to handicap. Let's talk some news, right? We've been off a week. Let's talk some news, and there has been some news. Little news, not a ton, on the White House card. Apparently Dana White said it's done, and then he said it's not done. So I'm a little confused there. I do believe they have a bunch of fights. They just need them signed, and they need them confirmed. I believe they're really trying to get McGregor back. McGregor versus Diaz, I'm kind of hearing that it would make sense due to their past, due to where they are in their careers, right? They both haven't been fighting a lot. Like, a lot of people think Conor McGregor is going to come back and fight a top 5 guy. No, that's not going to happen. He's going to fight an older veteran guy that hasn't been fighting a ton, that has a name. Perfect. Diaz, right? I wouldn't be too excited for the fight, but Conor McGregor coming back will just draw eyes no matter what, right? And I'm also hearing Topuria versus Gaethje. Makes sense. You know it's going to be a fun fight. Topuria I'm hearing he's coming back around that time. And then Gaethje obviously represents the U.S. So I can see maybe both happening, maybe at least one. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with this White House card. Tough news without Tom Aspinall. Wow. I feel for the guy. Surgery, both eyes. It's not just one eye, guys. It's both eyes. Cyril gone. How bad do you think he feels? He better feel bad. And he's had the history of this too, right? I've seen it in multiple fights where he's done this with the eye pokes. He just got Tom really bad in this one. There is a lot of talk out there, people saying, he's faking it, or he doesn't want to get back in the UFC. I don't see that. I don't see that being the thing, guys. Yeah, there are some guys that would just go fight, even if their vision's not 100%. I get that. Tom's just not that guy. He doesn't want to do that. And I get it, right? I never was the one to talk bad about him, that he, quit on the fight or he's not coming back. But they're talking about stripping Tom Aspinall. That would be crazy. Stripping him of the title. Let's see if it happens. I can't say for sure it would. Hopefully there's some positive signs. But yeah, he's just been in and out of surgery and going to eye doctors this whole time. It's kind of crazy. Make the heavyweight division great again, guys. It's the worst I've ever seen it, by far. I don't remember a worse time. You don't got a champion active right now. They just cut Almeida. That's good. That's good that they cut Almeida from the heavyweight division and from the UFC. He probably had back-to-back two of the worst fights I've seen. So they got rid of him. I called for it. And they got rid of him. So happy they did that. And hopefully they bring in some blood like Gabe Stevenson. Hopefully they Rico Verhoeven, the Dutch kickboxer. I'm hearing rumbles that both those guys should be coming soon. And that will give them a shot in the arm, this heavyweight division, right? Bring those guys in. They're entertaining. They're young. They have different styles. I'm not saying they should fight. But, Rico, if he's not fighting a grappler, he can run through a lot of these guys on the feet. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in this heavyweight division. Make it great again, guys. Make this division great again because it is bad. Let's get into it. Let's get into this main card. Like I always say, guys, please like the video if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening via podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, please review, share. It is much appreciated. Main event. Fluffy Hernandez minus 275 versus Strickland plus 225. I didn't expect this big of a line. I did expect Hernandez to be favored, maybe like minus 200. So we're not way off here. It is a good spot for Hernandez to get back on track. We'll talk about the matchup here and break it down. Return of Sean Strickland, right? He's been away. He's been away, and you can feel the return, right? Crazy comments and interviews already, calling out the NFL, calling out Bad Bunny, calling out women's fights. Sean is back. It's Sean Strickland Fight Week, ladies and gentlemen, right? And he's been away. He's been suspended. He's been off for a year now, just over a year. So keep that in mind when handicapping. You know me. I don't think a year is too concerning. I get concerned when I say a year and a half or more. Either coming from an injury or just not fighting at all for whatever the situation is. I don't get too concerned with just a year. Strickland had time off before, even though he has been active the past few years. I'm not going to hold it to him too much, but it's worth mentioning that time off. Hernandez, been fighting a ton, about a couple times a year. I wouldn't say it's a ton, but he's active. 7-fight win streak, guys, for Hernandez. A couple good wins in there. Roman Dolidze is a good win. Brandon Allen is his best win. I like that win. Close fight, good fight. And I do believe he has that similar game plan. Hernandez, he is going to chain wrestle and continue to try to just get this fight down to the ground while he uses excellent cardio. Strickland always had good cardio, but Hernandez probably has better cardio than him, right? That's what Hernandez does. Chain wrestle, uses cardio, sets up some striking. His striking isn't terrible, but it's not great. Obviously, Strickland is going to have the boxing and striking advantage in here. Strickland is going to throw more on the feet. Can he keep it standing? That's the big question in this fight, in this breakdown, guys. Right? No rocket science here. Hernandez is going to continue to chain wrestle and try to get this fight down. I do believe he gets it down to the ground. Can he hold him there? That's the question. Strickland has fairly good takedown defense over his career, right? 76% takedown defense is solid. DDP, I think, took him down multiple times. You can take him down. It's just, are you going to be able to hold him down there, right? That's the big question. Because he can wrestle, he can grapple. You just don't see it enough because he likes to keep it standing. So, yeah, of course, if somehow he can keep this fight standing, he has a good shot to win this fight. Like I mentioned, the striking advantage, yes, the volume is a lot more, but the defense, that's what he's so good at, Strickland, the 60% defense, right? What else I have a hard time seeing in this fight is this ending. Where does this end? The over rounds, fight goes the distance, seems to be like the logical bet here, guys. Where does it end? Let's look at it. Does Strickland end this fight? No. Very low odds that Sean Strickland knocks out Hernandez. Very low. 5%. I would put it at. Strickland fights. He's a point fighter. Sure, he could catch you with a big shot. I just don't see it happening with Hernandez. Where it ends is Hernandez by submission or Hernandez by like a TKO stoppage later in the fight. And that means he had a lot of success with the takedowns. That means he was able to keep Strickland down on the ground to get that TKO finish. I don't really see it happening, guys. I do believe this fight goes to decision, goes over in the rounds. That would be my favorite play. I'm leaning Hernandez here to win the fight. Don't love the price, so I would have to play it by decision if I were to bet it. But yeah, a later stoppage is possible here. It's just how much success is Hernandez going to have keeping Strickland down on the ground? I can't tell you that exactly. I know he's going to get him down on the ground probably multiple times throughout the fight. That's where he's going to want it. And he won't give up until he gets it down there. So again, Strickland, again, the time off, the limited KO or finishing ability. Hernandez just in that groove right now. And what does Strickland really have left? He's doing other things out of the octagon. Hernandez is not far from a title shot. I think Hernandez wins this fight. Hate the price. Love the over, and fight goes the distance as well. Co-main Neal minus 210 versus Medic plus 175. Interesting random fight here, but it should be a good fight on paper. Both guys like to strike. Medic doesn't really see outside of the first round much. And, Neal. Hands of steel Neal got that power. Big step up, though, for Medic in competition. That's why you're seeing Neal as the favorite, even though I do have some concerns with Neal. Nice win for Medic last time out versus Salikov. That was a good win. Neal has been just heading the wrong way, right? But it's against top-level guys. When he's losing against very good opponents. So I'm not going to hold him to that too much. Concerns about Neal coming out saying he's been having drinking issues and drinking problems. That's never good to hear when a guy's minus 210, guys. Right? The competition's lower. That's why I'm not that concerned. That's why I'm going to lean Neal here as the play. But when I hear stuff like that, I just say how focused is he on training? How locked in is he? And if a guy's not locked in going into a cage, it's very scary. So that's why I won't have a bet here on Neal. I don't believe the fight goes the distance. That's another play I would look at here. From a stat standpoint, volume's very similar, just over 5 significant strikes per minute from both guys. Neither guys wrestle, so I don't even have to talk about the stats there. So it should stay standing. Neal does have a 4-inch reach, and I do believe if he sticks to a game plan, use the jab, he wins this fight. But again, guys, too many concerns with Neal, the health. His journey. Medic live, maybe to catch him. Obviously, Neal's hard to finish on the feet. Medic has been finished multiple times. But tough one. Tough fight to call an outcome. Lean fight not to go the distance. Lean Neal. This will not be on my betting card this week. Dan Ige plus 175 versus Costa minus 210. Sneaky good fight here. Value on Ige at this price. Costa has been on a run, right? Just hasn't beat a guy with a Dan Ige name. Look at Dan Ige's resume advantage, you guys. It's crazy, right? He's losing a lot, but he's fighting guys that are top of this division, right? Diego Lopez, Lerone Murphy. The Pitbull loss, I don't like. I don't like that. That was the last fight. Don't like the Pitbull loss. Has me a little concerned. Why I do believe Costa could win this fight. Costa's path to win this fight. Wrestle. We have seen him wrestle a little bit. He can wrestle a little bit, guys. Dan Ige's takedown defense is not good at 56%. So that's his path. I think Costa needs to make this MMA fight. If he just decides to be staying standing, he can get caught. Dan Ige has power. We know that. So, yeah. It's not a fight I'm going to be getting involved in, guys. I lean the over 2.5 rounds. Probably my favorite bet on this fight. It's probably not going to make a client card bet. I don't like the price on Costa, even though I'm going to lean Costa's way to find a way to win. Don't love it, though. I think Ige's live due to his experience in fights like this. He's taken out, guys coming up before, or at least on a somewhat of a win streak. 5 straight wins. For Costa, just mid-tier, lower-tier guy. So I can't get too excited about it. I got to see more from Costa. It'd be a big win for Costa if you get it done. He has a path. He has to be able to wrestle and grapple here. Just don't know if he can do it. He's not a pure wrestler. He doesn't have a lot of great takedowns. He's just more of a well-rounded guy. He has some heart. So, yeah, not a fight I'll be involved in. Lean the over 2.5 rounds favorite play in this one. Spivak, talk about the heavyweight division being poor. Here's a couple guys that make it poor. Spivak plus 125 versus the Lijap minus 150. weak and boring heavyweight division, and this is a weak and boring fight. Unless we get lucky with like some sort of big knockout possible. Spivak has lost back-to-back fights, one being against Almeida. You know how I feel about Almeida, guys. Delija, what is he? He had a couple good back-to-back wins, but then lost to Waldo his last time out, and he got KO'd in the first round. But we know Waldo, he's on a run right now, so I can't hold that too much against him. He has been knocked out 5 times, though. Spivak not really known for his power. He does have some good wrestling. It'll be interesting to see if he mixes it up and just decides to wrestle. I think that's how he wins this fight. If he tries to grapple and wrestle, get this fight down to the ground. Again, this is not a fight you should be betting. If you do, you take a value side. I have this fight as a 50-50 side type of bet, and you get Spivak at plus 125. That's the only way I can look if I were to bet this fight. I do believe he has a path to get the fight down to the ground. He could even hurt him on the feet. So Spivak would be the play if I were to bet it. Last one we'll talk about here. It's a good fight between two prospects, two guys that are young, two 11-0 fighters. Harold's making his UFC debut, guys. Smith, already 2 fights in the UFC, good wins. Nico Price, veteran guy who was able to beat even though Nico Price is on his way out. Harold he's coming from the LFA, lower level guys. It's very hard to judge him, even though I do like him on tape when I watched tape from him, because I didn't know much about him until I watched tape study and I saw some good skill set. He could wrestle, very well-rounded. Smith, though, very athletic, guys. I really like Smith. I think he's one of the best prospects in this division. I do believe he wins this fight due to his athleticism. He can wrestle. He has heavy hands. I think he's a better out of the two guys here. 2 prospects, right? I haven't seen enough from Harold to bet him at this price. It's not a great price at plus 225, just because I haven't seen him fight in the UFC. When I haven't seen a guy fight in the UFC fighting another guy that's a higher touted prospect, it's hard for me to back Harold here at this price. So Smith also has a height and reach advantage. I do just think he's a little better everywhere. So Smith will be the bet here. I believe he wins this fight 8 out of 10 times. That will do it, guys. That will do it for UFC Fight Night Strickland versus Hernandez breakdown. It's in Houston, Texas, so we'll see a good card, hopefully. And like I always say, guys, bet smart and know your limits. Enjoy this card.